Blue Skies, Black Death. The mysterious death of Stephen Hilder in the high-octane, adrenaline-fueled world of skydiving. Trust is not merely important, it is essential. Skydivers literally place their lives into each other's hands every time they leap from an aircraft, relying completely on equipment meticulously inspected by trained professionals and friends alike. On that summer day, under a deceptively bright sky, 20-year-old Stephen Hilder fell approximately 13,000 feet to his death during the British Collegiate Parachute Nationals, initially presumed to be a tragic accident resulting from a rare double parachute failure. The truth, revealed during the subsequent investigation, was chillingly different. Stephen Hilder's parachutes had been deliberately sabotaged. While accidents are a recognized, albeit grim, aspect of the sport, murder is an alien concept, practically inconceivable. The Black Rain team executed what was later described as their finest ever performance. Onlookers initially assumed someone had simply landed off course, but the stark reality soon became clear when Stephen's body was discovered in a cornfield. He had impacted the ground with lethal force, with neither parachute having deployed correctly. DNA samples were collected from over 90 individuals present, including participants, instructors, and observers. Both were arrested, intensively questioned, and later released without charges due to lack of evidence. Police found troubling evidence. Fibers matching Stephen's cut parachute risers were discovered on his clothing, and a pair of scissors containing his DNA was found secured inside his locked car trunk. Additionally, Stephen was reportedly under considerable stress, facing mounting debt, academic challenges, and recent tensions within personal relationships. Some friends recalled Stephen darkly joking that skydiving might be a good way to die. His death remains a cautionary tale about vulnerability in a sport predicated on absolute trust. The skydiving community, still grappling with the implications, largely rejects the theory of suicide, believing that the true culprit remains unidentified. As time passes, hope for answers diminishes, yet the desire for truth persists, carried forward by those who knew and loved Stephen. Under blue skies, the shadow of Black Death continues to cast doubt over Hybaldstow Airfield, where one skydiver fell silently to earth, taking the answers with him. A third man, associated with Leeds University's skydiving club, was also briefly arrested and questioned, but similarly released. They argued that Stephen's known personality and documented behaviors were inconsistent with someone planning suicide, particularly through such a complicated, indirect method that implicated friends he cared deeply about. Furthermore, the fibers could plausibly have transferred during routine handling of his equipment, and scissors were common tools among skydivers for minor gear repairs. The extensive investigations led nowhere, leaving detectives frustrated and the skydiving community deeply unsettled. Trust within the sport, a vital component of its culture, was shattered. Competitors eyed each other with suspicion, a bitter consequence of the unresolved mystery. Investigators confiscated hook nivza, common tool among skydivers, for forensic examination, believing one might have been the murder weapon. The ambiguous conclusion left Stephen's family, friends, and fellow skydivers without closure, perpetuating uncertainty and speculation. The jump was smooth, precise, and earned the trio 19 points, a likely winning score. However, jubilation quickly turned to horror when parachutes deployed and only 2 fully inflated canopies were observed in the sky. Stephen's parachutes, both his primary and reserve, had failed catastrophically. A cadet enrolled at the prestigious Royal Military College of Science, Stephen was popular, athletic, and academically driven. Despite poor weather conditions initially delaying the event, the mood remained positive. The risers of his reserve chute were intentionally slashed, preventing deployment. Additionally, the bridle cord connecting the pilot chute to the main parachute pin was deliberately cut and carefully tucked back into place to appear functional during routine inspections. Such sabotage required detailed knowledge of parachute systems and could only have been carried out by someone familiar with skydiving equipment. It appeared meticulously planned and executed, designed to pass unnoticed until it was tragically too late. The evening of July 3rd saw participants relaxing at a themed fancy dress party held at the airfield. Stephen, known for his outgoing personality, joined the festivities enthusiastically. Dressed humorously in a thrifted leather mini-dress, he joyfully performed karaoke to Bon Jovi classics, embodying the carefree, joyous spirit typical of skydivers gathered for competition and friendship. By the time of his death, he had completed over 300 jumps, making him an experienced skydiver. He and his friends David Mason and Adrian Blair formed the Team Black Rain, known in competitive collegiate parachuting circles for their enthusiasm and camaraderie. Yet, on July 4, 2003, the unimaginable became reality at High-Baldstow Airfield in Lincolnshire, United Kingdom. Stephen Hilder was a dedicated young man whose life revolved passionately around skydiving. Arriving at High-Baldstow Airfield, Stephen and his teammates were optimistic and focused, eager to perform at their best. The next morning, competition resumed under clearer skies. Witnesses described a chilling scene: a detached bundle of white fabric, later identified as Stephen's reserve chute, drifted lifelessly downwards, signaling disaster. Skydiving experts and investigators rapidly uncovered a disturbing fact. Stephen's parachutes had not merely failed, they had been deliberately compromised. The revelation sparked an unprecedented criminal investigation. Police quickly designated the drop zone a crime scene, meticulously combing through the area for evidence. Stephen's teammates, Mason and Blair, quickly became subjects of suspicion due to their proximity and familiarity with Stephen's gear. With months passing and leads drying up, authorities considered an alternative theory that shocked everyone involved. Could Stephen have deliberately sabotaged his own equipment in a complex act of suicide disguised as murder? Yet those closest to Stephen vehemently rejected this theory, citing his consistently cheerful demeanor, meticulous pre-jump safety checks, and proactive plans for the future. Publicly, the case became divisive. Skydiving forums and social circles vigorously debated theories, oscillating between murder and suicide. In March 2005, nearly 2 agonizing years later, a coroner delivered an open verdict declaring insufficient evidence to confirm either murder or suicide conclusively. Today, the tragedy of Stephen Hilder endures as one of skydiving's most haunting mysteries.